Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Zvezda. It comes in 1/35 scale and it copies Russian 2-axle military truck K-4350. So this is a completely new release, and I think some of you might guess that this is actually a real truck which is named as a KAMAZ, but due to some copyright issues, I guess it was easier just to name it as a K-4350. Nevertheless, here we have a commercial sample which was bought with help of Nikki, and I'm really thankful that he helped to get this particular release, because it's quite interesting to see what is supplied inside and why this model should be interesting for all 1/35 scale modelers. So all in all, we have a typical Zvezda packaging. We have really beautiful box art in my opinion. Here you can see comparison with my hand. It's surprisingly big box, so keep it in mind. And here on the side we have some safety information. So there are 485 parts inside, and assembled vehicle will have a length of 22.7 centimeters, which is quite impressive for a truck in a 1/35 scale. Here we also have paint chart and decals map. I'm still not sure why this decals map is included, but I guess it might be handy for some of you. And here on the opposite side we have some other kits from the same brand, but I guess it's not the most interesting thing. Here we have quite notable stuff. Why? Because this is an actual kit which is assembled and painted. As you can see, there are various features shown here on the separate photos. So basically you can assemble this truck in open version or closed with a tarp on the top. I guess it is also included, we will see. We also have short history note here, again some information about the kit, and everything is sealed with a tape here, so I will have to cut through and then we will start our video review. But as far as I remember, there should be a sealed plastic bag, so it won't be that quick. Just give me a second, I'm cutting it right now. Okay, so let's open it. Box structure is standard for Zvezda. It means this sleeve is color printed, but all parts, they come in a brown box. Here you can see it, and it's openable with separate flap. And surprisingly, this is packaging which is really tight in my opinion. As you can see, it's filled to the top. We have clear plastic sprue and vinyl tires. They're packed in separate plastic bags. So we are going to start to check all this stuff one by one and decide whether this is a kit which is worth your attention. So because we had this plastic bag on the top, I suggest we begin with this clear parts, thread, and also decal sheet. Actually, there are several decal sheets, or it's a chrome sticker. So maybe I'll zoom in. Let's close the camera a bit. So here we have this chrome sticker which will be used for rear view mirrors. Obviously, professional modelers will replicate it with their own chrome paint. Next, we continue with a nice bonus in form of this nylon thread. It might be handy for some towing cable, I guess. And we continue with decals. So these ones are really nice. I guess there are several marking options included. We will see it in assembly manual, but printing quality looks good. We also have some dials for the dashboard, so I guess everything will be fine once you apply all these decals on your truck. Next, we continue with a clear plastic sprue. So this one is molded in form of this separate frame. Here we also have windscreen and side windows. As far as I remember, Zvezda does not include the masks or templates even in the modern kit, so you will have to mask everything by yourself. But molding quality, again, I will repeat, it looks really nice, so it's just a matter of careful painting, and it will be achieved with masks. So maybe it's worth waiting for some aftermarket accessory which will speed up this task. Next, we continue with vinyl tires. Here they are, so they're also packed into separate Ziploc bag. I will show you only one pair. Well, actually I can show you one tire only, because it is the one which is used for spare wheel. So here it is. It's a typical vinyl tire. If camera will focus, you will see what I'm talking about. So we have some features on the tire walls, which is really cool, because usually these vinyl tires, they come in a quite empty feature-wise, and here you can see, by the way, the tire pattern. So everything looks cool. I think they are okay for out-of-the-box build, but if you would like to have a better features on your truck, it's definitely worth investing into some resin upgrade, and I'm more than sure that it will be available soon, so it is worth waiting if you would like to have better features on your truck. Next, we have sealed plastic bag with large plastic spruce. So here it is. As you can see, I will have to cut through. So in the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us financially. We have a special donate button on our website. So if you would like to send a small donation via PayPal, it's quick and safe, and it will be used for new photo and video equipment, or maybe for new kits just like this one, which was bought with help of donation from Nikki. And again, I'm really thankful for this because it's quite interesting kit. Next, so we start with gray plastic spruce. First one is dedicated to rear bed. So as you remember, we have an option to assemble truck with covered rear bed or with open one. So here we have tarpaulin, and it looks quite convincing in my opinion. So if we zoom in as much as we can, so we start here. All these wrinkles, they look like real stuff. Of course, with some careful painting, it will be even better result. Here we continue with these walls and also some suspension parts for the rear bed. No wooden texture whatsoever, but as far as I remember, it is like this on the real subject, so there is nothing to complain about. We also have some parts for the main frame, and more tarp comes here. So as I said, all these wrinkles, they look quite good. Here camera does not want to focus. And let's flip it over. So inside we have some push marks here. So this stuff, I'm not sure if it will be visible because it's on the top panel, so maybe it won't be visible, but it is also present on the side walls. So if you would like to open this rear bed with a tarp on the top, you'll have to think through how to mask all this stuff, because it will look weird having such artifacts on the parts. Next, we continue with another big plastic sprue. So what is here? Here we have main chassis bars, which are placed here and here. Also, we have leaf springs, wheel axles. Here we have these frames for the tarpaulin, which will be used for the open version because they fold together in the top section. And what is else interesting is that we have some minor engine parts here, so I guess engine will be nicely detailed, and it should be possible to open it somehow on the truck, but we will see it in assembly manual. So let's start with this corner. We zoom in again. Here you can see these parts, and molding quality seems to be fine. I don't have anything to complain about. As you can see, these attachment points are thin enough in order to carefully separate all this stuff and get it ready to be assembled together. The same applies to the suspension parts and drivetrain parts, and I like also pre-molded features, all these rivets on the main chassis bars. Here we have, by the way, fuel tank parts. So really impressive molding quality. Let's flip it over, because here I can see that wheel axles, they will have to be glued out of two hulls, and from what I can see, there are no guiding pins. That's really interesting, but there are guiding pins for the spring bars. So that's why I'm wondering why it is like this. Oh, so this frontal and rear section, they will be actually serving as a guiding elements for these parts, so everything looks fine. And we can move on to the next plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to the front cap parts, and straight away you can see something where you will have to be careful. These thin frames, they are quite tender, and as you can see, they do not have any protection around them, so you have to be careful while handling all this stuff. So here we can zoom in and you can check dashboard and also side panels for the front cap. Doors are molded separately, and it is interesting that these side panels, that are molded together with the rear storage box. And I wonder how it will be all combined together. Here you can see separate door. Next we continue with various parts for the interior. Here we have a front plate. which looks really nice, but note that there is no KAMAZ logo, so I guess there will be some aftermarket sets which will fix this. It's not a huge issue in my opinion. Here, by the way, we have 4 for the interior. Next we continue with wheel fenders and also another separate door, another side panel, and here we have more roof and rear panel as well, so more panels for the front cap. By the way, these are parts for the front seats, so they should be glued out of 2 parts. I'm not sure how seat belts should look like, but you saw that they're not present on the decals, so if you would like to have them, you will have to get some aftermarket set. And what is inside? Inside we have just some plain panels. Well, there are some rivets on the roof panel, and that's pretty much all from what I can see. We have also separate door panels, which is really cool because they won't be empty. As you can see, they're thin enough in order to incorporate this separate panel. So it's just a matter of careful assembly all together with these parts. But that's not all. We also have another set of plastic sprues. So here it is. Again, I need a moment to open it. All in all, I like what I see in this kit because molding quality is on par, I would say, with recent releases from Zvezda, so there is nothing to worry about. And the only thing which a bit bothers me is that these kits are, let's say, developed in a 3D, so I wonder why they keep ignoring mask templates, which are really easy to do with such technology. You don't have to spend time trying to adjust the size and all the stuff. It is ready straight out of the box, so you can implement either masks template or maybe even masks themselves. It would be a really handy addition for such kit in my opinion. Here we continue with another gray plastic sprue. It's notably smaller than what we saw before, but we have some engine parts and also some interior parts here. So let's zoom in again, maybe open the camera a bit. So here you can see these parts, and we have separate hatch for the roof panel. It might be open, I guess, because it is molded as a separate part, so you can position it in an open version. Here we continue with some air filters, and steering wheel is here on 3 attachment points. So everything looks nice, and maybe some of these elements can be even detailed further. By the way, let's check this hatch. So it is not that detailed inside. I guess maybe there will be a separately molded handle in this kit. We will check it in assembly manual. But next we continue with engine parts, and that's really nice surprise of this kit, because here we have a nice engine included out of the box. Wheel rims, they're also quite nice. So let's zoom into this engine part so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Here you can see what we have. So this engine deserves some careful weathering and painting, but I wonder if it will be possible to open it, because as you can see, there are a lot of parts involved in this section of the truck, so I guess maybe it would be possible to somehow tilt the front cap in order to expose the engine under it, because otherwise it would be a shame to hide it inside. And by the way, here inside this house you can see that we have guiding elements, so it should be relatively easy to combine all this stuff together. Even though parts count for the engine looks impressive in my opinion. And last but not the least is this pair of identical plastic frames. So I will show you only one, and as you can guess, it is dedicated to various external elements as well as wheel axles and wheel rims. We also have some minor bits for the engine and also for the headlamps here. For example, here you can see side view mirrors. Everything looks nice. I mean, if we zoom in here, you can see that even the thinnest parts, such as screen wipers and these side view mirrors, they're molded in a clean way, so there is nothing to clean or cut around. There is no flash. Here we have mud guards. Oh, so here we have KAMAZ logo. This is really funny, but not on the grill, on the front grill. Here we have also jerry can, which is molded together with a special holder frame. So some modders will like it, some modders will try to replicate it separately. It might be a good idea for aftermarket producers to add this special bracket for the fuel or jerry can as a upgrade for this truck. Next, we continue with a separate paper which is dedicated to various safety devices, nothing special in my opinion. We also have separate marking guide which is printed in color. So here we have two marking options on one side. Here you can see them. Of course, there are green tracks, so there is not that much of variety, I would say, in the marking options. Main differences are various symbols on the front cap and, of course, number plates. We also have the paints chart here. And on the opposite side, you can see also two more marking options. This one is from the Victory Parade. So maybe you'll find something interesting here. Maybe you have to search. Oh, so one more here, as you can see, different symbol on the front cap. Or maybe you can search for some reference photos and implement the same marking option as what you'll see in these photos. Next, we continue with the marking guide. So this one is printed as a small black and white brochure. And let's zoom out a bit. So first of all, you can see that we are given choice between assembly options. Obviously, you can, let's say, mix them, build the front in a closed position with open rear bed or vice versa, but it's nice that you can tilt the front cap. It might be handy for some diorama ideas. So now we flip over the page parts map, which does not show which parts are not used, so be careful and use the right elements. Maybe I'll close the camera even more so that it won't be that bright. Next, we continue with assembly process. It starts with an engine and gearbox. As you remember, there are a lot of parts to install, so be careful and also think of some painting and weathering ideas in order to, let's say, bring out this feature if you would like to display it on your model. Next, we continue here with the Gearbox Lever. And as you can see here, we have various assembly options depending on the version of the truck you choose. So for example, this gearbox lever, it will stay on the engine when you lift the front cap, which is quite interesting design. Next, we start with the main chassis, which will have to be assembled out of separate bars, and you will have to combine them together. There is a separate piping which will be installed here and there, so be careful with this stuff. And what is next? It's a bit difficult to turn over these pages. So here we continue with installation of the engine in the front section together with the radiator grille. Here we have leaf springs getting installed here and there. Here, by the way, you can see that leaf springs for the rear part, they're glued out of two housing. Then we continue with wheel axles, and also I guess this is a air cylinders for the suspension, and also fuel tank on the last step, which is assembled out of separate panels, by the way. Next, we continue with the separate bars. Actually, that's the separate process for the rear bed. Then we install mud guards there, and also this special storage box. Here are these thin frames. They will be handy for the seats in the rear bed. And next we continue with the jerry can, then we assemble spare wheel and install it on the same, that's the main frame, so still no front cap. And only here on the step number 40 you start working on the front cap, so it will be achieved by combining separate panels together, as you remember. And really interesting thing is that we have interior panels molded separately, so you will have to install them here and there. Do not forget about it. And what is else notable is that we do not have any masks, and there are plenty of clear elements, so keep it in mind. Here we continue with the steering wheel, windscreen. You have to cut off extra plastic here, and of course you can open the doors. That's what I'm checking. And here we can see, sorry. So we can see wheels getting assembled. That's actually the wheels which will be installed on the wheel axles. And of course you will have to decide if you want to have this tarpaulin or you want to have these support frames in a folded position. That will depend whether you would like open or close rear bed, and of course whether you would like to see the tilted front cap or closed front cap on your model. So 68 steps in total. And all in all, we have really impressive kit from Zvezda. It should be already available and price is quite reasonable. So if you would like to assemble some modern truck in 1/35 scale, definitely consider this kit. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release here in the comment section below. If you like this video, do not forget to press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!